In this video, I'm going to explain how boosting the immune system can actually kill you. So if you boost your immune system enough, you will invite the Grim Reaper to come visit you. So you don't want to do that. So if you think that immune boosting is beneficial, you're not alone. It's very common. You can see if you just Google boosting the immune system, you can see that everyone thinks that healthy foods boost the immune system. It's actually the opposite. Healthy foods suppress immune function. But you see stuff like this, pictures like this, where you boost the immune system and you block pathogens from entering your body. So again, if you think that immune boosting is the good goal, you are not alone. So just the other day, or recently, when was it anyway? March 9th, Dr. Oz was on Today, and what are they talking about? Immune boosters. So everyone thinks that you boost the immune system by doing healthy stuff. It's the opposite, and it's very easy to demonstrate. So boost means strengthen or increase, obviously. So this presumption is somehow that everyone's running around with immune systems that are weak and need boosting. So one of the things that Dr. Oz talked about on here on Today was how vitamin D is an immune booster. So this host has no clue. I mean, what does she know about immune function? So she just goes along with it. So a guy like Oz says, yeah, you boost the immune system with vitamin D. I mean, was the average person going to disagree with that? The average person, and even most physicians, don't spend their time getting articles on immune function. So here's an example of one. So here's vitamin D and autoimmunity. So autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, multiple sclerosis, all those various conditions. Those are autoimmune conditions. So what does vitamin D do? Well, vitamin D is beneficial for autoimmunity because vitamin D is a biological inhibitor of inflammatory hyperactivity. Well, what is inflammatory hyperactivity? That is a boosted immune state. Autoimmunity is a boosted immune state. And that is why we know that vitamin D is immunosuppressant. So vitamin D has multiple immunosuppressant properties. So the problem with this language is that you've got the boosting and suppression. When people think of immunosuppression, they think of AIDS is the most common one, or you would actually want immunosuppression. So they take anti-rejection medications after a transplant. So you have this dichotomy presented, boost versus suppress. And neither language is actually really useful at this point because immunosuppression, automatically people think of HIV/AIDS. So from this article, I'm going to show you what it means. So it's basically downregulation, and anti-boosting takes place when you take vitamin D. So here's the picture. So you can see if you look at this and you're not into biology, this is just one big massive confusion, and that's why language like immune boosting catches hold because people don't understand what's in this image. Now, I am not good at immunology, I just don't totally suck at it. So this is not complicated to me. It's really simple. It was initially, but then it wasn't. So you got a bunch of different immune cells. So first, if you start talking about immune boosting, you want to, well, which cells are you going to boost? And you can see right here where these down arrows, wherever you see the down arrow, that means downregulation or suppression. Only in one spot do you see increasing. And this one here, downregulation B cell, it should have had a down arrow. Anyway, so vitamin D is going to reduce immune function for dendritic cells, T helper 1 cells, T helper 17 cells, and macrophages. And so it will increase immune function in just one cell. This would be your anti-inflammatory T helper 2 cells. So what happens when you take vitamin D is you get mostly an immunosuppression event taking place, or downregulation with only one cell being upregulated. A couple others, but they're just not here, like T regulatory cells as well. But this, what I just described, now, hopefully you didn't click the video off because it was confusing. The point is to learn about this and see that language is really important when you start talking about immune function, especially when you realize, and I'm going to show you, how a boosted immune system is the killer for people who have a really bad reaction to the coronavirus. So moving on, This image scares people a little bit, and you can see it on the right side. This is just a Google search for immune function. In the previous image, we had plasma cells, B lymphocytes, these were the T helper 1, 2, and 17 cells. We had also monocytes, macrophages, and dendritic cells. Didn't have these other cells in there. So this last image I showed you was just a portion of immune function. It shows how the modulation of these cells is done by vitamin D to downregulate immune function to normalize the inflammatory state. Now that language, again, is a little confusing, which is why pictures like this, which, I mean, seriously, pictures like this is like, you know, I mean, honestly, like kindergarten, junior high school stuff. Maybe not junior high school. I mean, in fact, in junior high school, you'll learn more sophisticated information than this. I remember learning in my 8th grade science class back in, what, 1972 or 3, I learned about mitosis and meiosis. Way more complicated than somehow taking some immune booster to prevent the entry of foreign substances like bacteria or viruses. So we want to avoid this thinking. It's inaccurate, it's foolish, and it sort of goes against how the human body is designed anyway. So when we look at the human body, you can just go into Google search field and put in what I did, normal viral population of the human body. This is just a pull from Wikipedia. I'm going to show you more from scientific papers. Unlike the roughly 40 trillion bacteria in the typical human microbiome, so all over your body and out of the skin and all of the membrane areas exposed, so you're into like the urinary tract and the rectum, the digestive tract, the mouth, nose, ears, tons of bacteria. I mean, 40 trillion bacteria. There's thought to be more bacteria. It's like a 5 to 1 almost, 2 to 1, 5 to 1 ratio. I forget the exact number. It changes depending upon who you read. But bacteria outnumber the human body. So we are basically like a bacterial carrier. And when it comes to viruses, the number of viral particles in a healthy adult is not yet available, although virions generally outnumber bacteria 10 to 1 in nature. So we are, if you take the viruses and the bacteria on the human body, in the human body, there are more combination of bacterial and viral cells than there are human cells. So how do we not die if we're outnumbered that massively? And the reason why is because if you have a healthy immune system, you'll respond properly to this normal population. And you'll respond properly if you get a foreign bacterial or viral load that impacts the human body. So this is one of the papers that I told you I would be talking about. Look at the title, The Placenta Goes Viral. Retroviruses Control Gene Expression in Pregnancy. It's published in 2018, as you can see here. So let's look at what they tell us. They tell us endogenous retroviruses have become fixtures in the host genome. Genome sequencing of many species have revealed that endogenous retroviruses have a ubiquitous presence in vertebrate genomes, constituting in humans, you can see, over 8% of the human genome is viral. Oh man, I mean, that's like amazing. So like the human body is very different than the average person thinks. And I had no idea about this whole virome or the viral genome component until I started looking at this coronavirus thing because, well, I don't know, I just started thinking about it and started asking questions. And so that's how I came up with these papers. Here's another one. Symbiosis, Viruses as Intimate Partners, published in 2017 in a journal called Annual Review of Virology. So my question would be, how come a guy like Oz doesn't go on that Today Show and say, listen, here's the thing. Human body has more bacteria. The viral bacterial population in a normal, healthy human body far outweighs the total cells that are human cells. And so we need to have a proper homeostatic relationship, a proper balanced relationship with our viruses and bacteria. When we become inflamed, which is what the average person is, that balance is lost, and we are much more likely to express an inflammatory reaction that could be catastrophic, as in death, if we're too inflamed. And so you take vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin C, etc., and that down regulates the flame so we better handle foreign bacterial and viral loads. That's what he should have said. So this is from that paper from the abstract. So you can see ultimately symbiosis, this is with virus, symbiosis, symbiogenesis, or speciation through fusion. So, and the presence of large amounts of viral sequences in the genomes of everything from bacteria to humans, including some important functional genes, illustrates the significance of viral symbiogenesis in the evolution of all life on Earth. Here's a picture from that article. You can see we're going to focus on B, and we'll focus on E because that's human. So here we go. So B, what is B? Commensal viruses, as in numerous viruses found in and on humans that do not have any apparent impact of their hosts. And then symbiogenic, as in the expression of endogenous retrovirus. This is the speciation thing where the retrovirus becomes part of the human species or part of the human genome, which allows for what? Birth to take place. So without our endogenous viruses, we wouldn't be able to give birth. Women would not be able to give birth. So this notion that viruses, this whole thing about boost the immune system, guard against bacteria. I mean, what are you guarding against? You already have more bacteria and viruses than human cells. So what we should be guarding against is if we get an invasion of or get exposed to a high exogenous viral or bacterial load, we want to be able to handle it properly and not have a dramatic reaction that could lead to death. So how should we look at this? We need an image. So this would be an image showing small amount of the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines. This is normal. Everyone has them in circulation. Do a blood test, you would have interleukin 6. Now, what interleukin 6 does, once it goes to the liver, it causes the liver to pump out C-reactive protein. The best test is called high-sensitivity C-reactive protein. You want to be below 1 milligram. No, that's not good. 1 milligram per liter is normal. So the average adult American is between 1 and 3, and 25%, and think of 25% of the adult U.S. population has a CRP above 3. They live in a chronically low-grade hyperinflamed state. So when you're above 3, you won't have a fever, but you just feel like crap. And that's 25% of the adult population. So they are already living in a boosted immune state, because you cannot have CRP pop up above 1 without an immune boost. So normal immune function is what we have here. You feel great and are resilient to immune stimuli that can impact the body, such as cold, flu, and coronaviruses. Well, this changes as we flame up. So this is a manifestation of boosted immune function, which of course you don't want. This will jack up your CRP. So if you've got boosted immune function, you will feel unwell, you can feel depressed, you can have aches and pains, and you will likely be silently developing cancer, heart disease, Alzheimer's disease, and whatever other disease you're worried about. That's a boosted immune state. So the idea of boosting the immune system is kind of like you should see now it's kind of a dumb idea. It doesn't make any sense. It's very, very juvenile language. We should avoid that stuff and be accurate. So what happens to you if you are in this boosted immune state? You are less resilient. And what does less resilient mean? Less resilient means that you will respond poorly. You will have a hyperimmune reaction to foreign stimuli like cold, flu, and coronaviruses. That is what this means. So how do you create this state for yourself? Well, here's what you can do. If you want to boost your immune system and become sick, here's what you do. Eat a pro-inflammatory diet, live a sedentary lifestyle, become sleep deprived, be mentally and emotionally stressed by all the psychosocial stressors that are out there, smoke cigarettes, and then don't take care of your teeth. Simple, straightforward things that you can do to boost your immune system and feel sick. And what happens to these people who live a pro-inflammatory diet, don't exercise, don't sleep well? Are they going to be lean and healthy, or will they be obese? They will be obese, and obesity is actually a chronically immune-boosted state. So if you are sleeping at night and you're obese, you are already pumping out more of these cytokines. And then you wake up and you continue with the pro-inflammatory diet, sedentary living, and on the list we go. You will just further boost immune activity in an already boosted basal state called obesity. Right, so not good. So this is what happens when that person gets exposed to a bacterial or viral pathogen. You can have an explosion of cytokines, you get a fever. So lots of people who get the coronavirus just get the sniffles, don't feel well, and that's it. Some get fevers and others get worse. So what is the worst? So you can see this looks like a tornado, right? This is a storm. This is called the cytokine storm. So if you have an especially boosted immune system, now remember, you want normal. You don't want boosted at all. You want a normal immune system. The average person lives in this state here. They live in this low-grade boosted state such that they're much more likely. So when this person gets exposed to a coronavirus, for example, then you get a fever. If you're especially boosted, you can die. What do you die from? Death occurs by a massively boosted immune system, and that manifests as what is called the cytokine storm. So this image I pulled from this article here, Into the Eye of the Cytokine Storm. This is back in 2012, so going on, 8 years, going on longer now. So what do we know about the cytokine storm? Well, complications or ultimately death arising from these infections, influenza, coronavirus, are often associated with what a hyperinduction of pro-inflammatory cytokine production. That's what immune boosting is. It's an overproduction of pro-inflammatory cytokines called, at the worst state, a cytokine storm, and the outcome can be, of course, as you saw previously and here, death. So clearly, we don't want to have a boosted immune system. It's really foolish. So, and we should appreciate the cytokine storm. I mean, it was described in Business Times back in February 22, as you can see right here. All right. So let me show you an example of a boosted immune system. So this is eczema. Check out how nasty this eczema is. And from the nationaleczema.org website, people with eczema they do have an overreactive immune system. Their immune system is boosted into an overreacted state. So this is a picture of a 77-year-old woman who has terrible eczema. Before she developed eczema, she suffered for years with cold sores, itchy scalp, chronic musculoskeletal pain, all manifestations of a boosted immune system. So her chiropractor gave her the deflamed diet and helped her follow it, and look what happened to her. Boom, normal immune function. So she deflamed her immune system, and that's how you want to look at it. You have a inflamed immune system or a deflamed immune system. It's the best, most simple way to look at it. Now, we could say you want to suppress immune function into a normal homeostatic state, but the language of boost and suppress should go away because they just conjure up images that are inaccurate. Like a boosted immune state is a pro-inflammatory immune state, and a suppressed immune state we typically think of in terms of HIV/AIDS. So the best way to look at it, I think we should deflame immune function to normal homeostatic state, or really just have a healthy immune system. And a healthy immune system is one that is anti-inflammatory and not overreacting to everything that comes flying by us or that we ingest, or we overreact to our own bacterial viral population. So this is the best way to look at it in my view. And there are lots of other videos that I've done that you can pause and kind of look at these, but these are the last three I did basically on the coronavirus because people are I don't think reacting properly and don't appreciate. None of this is being discussed properly. If you watch those news shows, they don't tell you about, listen, the worst thing you can do is have fear and be all freaked out about it because fear creates inflame, and when you're flamed up, you're more likely to have a worse reaction to any viral load, but in this case, corona. Obesity increases coronavirus severity, and on down the list. Depression is an inflammatory state. You can kind of look through all these things and you see that I spent a lot of time talking about, flamey stuff. So here, stress makes you want to eat desserts, French fries, etc. Now you got to think about how bad this is. Now, right now, there are actually articles out that are online stuff and probably in print also, telling people what to do as they're quarantined. Now, if you're quarantined and you're sitting at home, you can't leave, you'll be just feel antsy, and you want to get out and do something. But if you can't, well, what are you going to do? You sit around and eat broccoli slaw? The average person is going to drink alcohol. Alcohol consumption is going up. Dessert food consumption is going up. We're going to get people more obese and sick. There'll probably be a secondary blast of this coronavirus thing after people are let out of their house when they've gained 10 to 20 pounds and are sicker than they were before they were quarantined. So you want to get deflamed. And that's what my whole view of the world is, to deflame our hyperinflamed state. So politicians would do well to think about this also, deflame our political environment. So here are the books that you can read and the videos that you can watch I showed previously. This is the original Deflame book. There's a chapter in there on how to deflame the immune system. And when the immune system and other cells flame up, we end up with a body rot state, talking about joints, muscles, bones, and other musculoskeletal tissues. A body rot state, a hyperimmune state, is also breast cancer. And of course, when we are obese, we have a hyperimmune state. So all of these books are designed to get the system deflamed so we can be more resilient and handle environmental and internal stressors and not get sick. So if you like this video, you can go to the Facebook page and click like there. You're already on the YouTube channel, so you can like it, share it with your friends, and help get people deflamed, because you want to be deflamed to deal with, as I said before, any stressor, whether it be endogenous, internal, human body, or exogenous from the outside. We want to be resilient so we don't fall apart when we're exposed to these stressors due to an ongoing boosted immune system that needs to be suppressed or deflamed.